All right, hey, what's up, everybody? Mike Lindsley back with you for an ML Sports Take, brought to you by Empower Federal Credit Union and Bryant and Stratton College. The Buffalo Bills have moved to 7-2 with a big-time win at home over the Seattle Seahawks, 44-34, and some instant reaction to this game as it's now in the books. Number one, could you imagine how loud the stadium would have been today in Buffalo? My goodness, with the Super Bowl contending Seattle Seahawks in town. Russell Wilson, the lead dog, probably for MVP going into this game, and the Bills, of course, controlled him. More on that in a moment. But I just think about the unbelievable insanity that would have been going on via Bills Mafia. And let's get to the game. And right there, Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks, even when they were down by, two scores, three scores throughout this game, you just thought to yourself, it's only going to take one more big play. And they got a lot of those during the game still. I mean, think about that screenplay late in the game and being able to hit DK Metcalf there in between a couple of defenders, and Seattle kind of crept right back in it with a couple minutes left. But for the most part, the Bills did eliminate the big play. I mean, right from the beginning, I thought that was a huge part of this game. Lockett on one side, Metcalf on the other. You've got to make sure that you're not giving up the 30-yarder, the 40-yarder, the big-time plays on the outside, the plays up over the zone, if that's the defense that you choose, which the Bills were mixing a lot of man coverage and zone coverage thanks to the great play of the secondary. Now, I know Trey White tweaked the ankle late, but he was a big part of this game. You think about that play in the second half that he made, the interception. It was unbelievable. A.J. Klein was matched up against DK Metcalf on the inside, and then, of course, Trey White kind of slid back, knowing full well that the safety help might not come until late on the outside, and Trey White leaves his man and picks the ball off. Incredible stuff there. A.J. Klein was a monster all over the quarterback today in Russell Wilson. Addison had a big sack, so the defense came to play again. The Bills' defense doesn't need to be 2019 great. They just need to be good enough because their offense can score points. And oh, by the way, speaking of that offense, Josh Allen, 400-yard game, 3 touchdowns today, and kudos to Brian Dable for the most part in the second half, even doing it the first half. Right from the first snap, this team attacked the Seattle defense, a complete and utter weakness for the Seahawks, and maybe they're not right now a Super Bowl contender because the defense is so bad. I think Seattle and Green Bay really lack a lot there. They leave something to be desired defensively for sure, as far as making plays and stopping people. And that's maybe where a Buccaneer team or perhaps the Saints are ahead of these other clubs because their defenses are just brutal. Again, you got to be good enough. You don't have to be great. But the key is that you've got to look at the situation with the Bills and give them a ton of credit on both sides of the ball. The defense eliminating most of the big plays for Russell Wilson and company. And then on the flip side, the attacking nature of the Buffalo Bills with Brian Dable and just getting after it across the board. And I thought, look, when you get a game like this, 44-34, and there's so many different ways to go, 78 total points, it's kind of hard to nitpick and grab one play and be like, oh, that was the key play of the game. But if I had to do it, I think early in the fourth quarter, when the Buffalo Bills were starting to come unglued and Allen had to, sort of react on a timely manner, and the Seahawks were coming and charging, they were blitzing like crazy, and Allen seemed to not really be able to react. The offensive linemen were getting trampled. Allen did have that really great screen read, no question, when the couple of blitzing guys from the corners were coming in, and the Bills got a big gain. But the key play for me, I believe it was early in the fourth quarter, and the Bills, it was a third down play, and John Brown caught the ball on the right side. It was a receiver slant screen, and he almost took it to the house. And that play was enormous. Josh Allen, of course, and the offense did the rest and punched it in. Moss with the score there. That was a big deal. Another huge thing today was the Bills when they were in the red zone inside the 20-yard line, no screwing around. They scored touchdowns. Look at the Trey White pick. Immediately get the ball, immediately score. No question about that. I think that was a big deal too. I mean, the red zone offense that the Bills have been hampered by today really came through. They got touchdowns mostly, not field goals, and that was a big thing. Other than, I thought, the Gabe Davis touchdown that looked like to me that it was in real time and a score in the first half. I thought Sean McDermott and his coaching staff completely outcoached and out-hustled and out-fought Pete Carroll and his staff in this game as well. From a game management standpoint, from an X's and O's standpoint, from a scheme standpoint, I would say that there's no question about it that the Bills coaching staff did an A-plus job, and certainly took care of business on against the Seattle team that right now, look, are they as much of a Super Bowl contender? No, as they were before today. No, but you know what? The Bills, credit them. I mean, the Bills really put it to them today, and I think that Russell Wilson's still a great quarterback. Russell Wilson's still in the MVP conversation. Do I think he's a lead dog? No. He cost him against Arizona. He cost him a ton today against the Bills. But again, remember, there's another team on the other side, A and B. Everybody's allowed to have one bad game. Russell Wilson still almost threw off the back foot with a blitz coming to Lockett 30 yards across the field. Lockett had to go, and Wilson still almost hit him in stride. Wilson made that little flick throw like he was going down, almost like a shortstop charging a ground ball. Russell Wilson's still pretty darn good. He had a bunch of turnovers today, a bunch of turnovers against Arizona, but everybody's had one bad game. I still think he's in the conversation for the MVP. I don't think he's top 2 or 3, but he's in the conversation, of course, and we still have 7 games to left for him to rectify it. But neither here nor there. Today's about the Buffalo Bills, 7-2 on the season, beating Seattle, and I can't wait to hear any national person tomorrow talk about the Bills not having a signature win. They've now beaten the Rams, they've beaten the Seahawks, they beat the Raiders just before they beat the Kansas City Chiefs. It was a one-possession game, even though they were getting steamrolled against the Kansas City Chiefs. They could have had the Titans game here and there early in the game, but a couple of bad possessions. They've beaten everybody in the division that they're supposed to beat in terms of being bad teams, but it was another big-time win today for the Bills, and they're 7-2 for a reason here, and the 2 reasons are: A, they've beaten teams in the division that they're supposed to beat, Jets, Dolphins, Patriots included, but more importantly, they've gotten 2 monster wins against NFC powers in the Rams and the Seahawks. ML Sports Take brought to you by World of Beer, Destiny USA, the Vince Aguirre Consulting Group, Bryant and Stratton College, and our great friends at Pelra Contracting. Hit me on Twitter at Mike L Sports, and as I always tell you, enjoy the games.